think that's pretty nice for an interview.
We mag alles auf Englisch, hè?
Yeah,
Yes.
English from now on for all the...
Okay, great.
So I think we're going to start with a coffee. Hopefully I'm going to get some coffee. This is the biggest giant SUP I've ever seen. Ridiculous. Look at that. John's the man. It's a custom for him. And you can walk on it. Like you can close the pool. And this one actually, this is pretty weird. Like the whole thing. You can slide it back and then it sinks in here. Crazy, look at that. Let's have a sit.
Yes.
And a talk and a coffee.
And a coffee. We're not really used this season to use this, but...
I've used it on Fehmarn, on the Fall Festival. That's where I got the tent from. Someone's coming.
Someone's coming, but he can stay.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Yeah?
They're partly educated in Dutch and in German as well.
Yeah? All right. What about English? Do you speak English?
Multi-language, I don't know. No, but German and...
All right. Ready to go?
Ready to go.
One more zip of coffee.
Yes. Finally.
Loosen up the brain.
Exactly.
Straighten up the muscles. So I'm here with John Lammers. You invited me to come. And I'm really curious because you're on the forefront of eFoiling. Something I haven't been really much into. I tried it. And there's a lot of things people say about eFoiling not being so sportive and being really expensive. But I think things are changing.
Definitely.
And that's why I'm here.
Definitely. I mean, the sport now, it's about roughly 10 years old. I'm following it for 10 years. When I moved to Germany about 20 years ago, I'm as a Dutch guy, I'm a born a windsurfer, and then I moved to Germany, and there was no wind at that time. Fortunately and unfortunately, but because of climate changing, we do have wind over the last years, 3-4 years. So that's good for sailors and windsurfers and wing foilers as well. But speaking about good 10 years ago, then I was after that I was have been wakeboarding for quite a while, and then I was thinking, what are we going to do next? And then I found out the hydrofoil and the eFoil and a lot of promises in the internet, and I hooked up with some guys from Canada. That was at that time a Kickstart program, and I spent some money and I helped them to find suppliers, and we shared ideas. And after 2 years, they were gone, and a lot of promises, and that was sad, sadly for us. But there we were, so we had nothing. And I was really already seeing myself anywhere eFoiling. So we started really to cut our windsurf boards and to with polyester and carbon and to laminate and put electronics inside and batteries and making failures as well. And but finally we were flying then after a while, and that worked so well that even family and friends got enthusiastic, and they were addicted to foiling after they tried it, and so it started. And today I'm still guiding guys that want to build by themselves. We're also trading foils. Uh-huh. We repair foils, we supply parts, and it's all around the eFoil thing.
So what do you think, who are eFoils made for? Because I think a lot of people, when the first eFoils hit the market, they were really expensive, and a lot of people couldn't afford it. Like I couldn't afford it. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool for maybe being on the water and maybe traveling somewhere, like covering long distances, but I couldn't afford it. And therefore I was like, nah, I don't need it. Like because I couldn't afford it. Otherwise, I might have had a different approach to eFoiling, but I think a lot of people are hands off. I'm a diehard surfer. I don't want an
Skeptical,
electric.
yeah,
they are
definitely. Skeptical because of the price point. I mean, initially the commercial boards started at 15, 16K. Was a lot of money. People were hesitating just for the time being, just for the summer period. And definitely, we were now down to a price point around 6,000, 7,000 euros. Affordable boards, very good quality.
Which, sorry to interrupt you, but that really surprised me. Like you were showing me back in the garage, and we will have a look later on. You were showing me an EPP foam board with a really low price point, which surprised me because it was 6,900, you said.
Exactly.
And that's quite affordable. Like if I take a wing foil set and someone who's getting like a foil and the whole package, it could be in the same price range, almost.
Exactly. The entry level is about 6,900 euros. You will get an EPP board, but you will get the same technology, the same battery, the same charging system, same remote control as you get with the carbon board, which is a little bit more expensive. I will explain you later. And it's definitely to start eFoiling. It's a very good price value, and you also will get always your return for it. So after a while, either you're going to say, this is my sport,
Yeah.
what's the next level? You can trade it easy, and it is very stable in pricing. Either you're going to say, I'm going to take a smaller board or a faster board. Yeah, still a lot of possibilities.
So where do you see eFoiling? Do you think a lot of people are going to be owning a board in the future, or are they just trying to get into foiling because it's so easy to learn foiling with an eFoil? If you're like wing foiling, I say try to wing first or start foiling first somewhere behind a boat or something, because if you're learning both at the same time, it's really hard. And I think taking an eFoil could be a great shortcut, so people don't need to own one. They could just take a course or a lesson or something. So do you think more people are going to just rent one or book a course, or are they going to own one? Or which is like the market share?
There's still some investment in place, but if it's affordable and everybody can decide that for their own, it's definitely good to have one eFoil for the family, and then you can vary it in the kind of wings, like smaller wings for, now I'm going to say the father, that's probably more into carving, and mother wants to have some in the morning relaxed tour of 20 clicks, 20 kilometers, and relaxing. So that's all possible. We are now behind the eFoil racing, which is the next level. Like you have a little track, and two guys compete against each other for the fastest one-on-one, and for the fastest track. And this gives also a new horizon to the eFoil sport. And I can tell you that is definitely not boring if you see them. They go
Exactly.
45, 50 clicks around the track, and then really carving. It's very nice to see as well. Yes.
And I think another point, and you just mentioned it, for like the family sharing a board, it could be fast, agile on a small front wing, and then it can be really playful and easy on a bigger one. And that's a trend I had to discover for myself at the boat. Like I thought of eFoils in the terms of how I would use them, and that would be as small and powerful as possible, like going racing or carving and stuff like that. But if you think about modern ways of moving on water, I think that's where I see eFoils as well. You could have it as a tender or as a replacement for a small boat. Like you could even take it, like on these bigger ones, they're coming up with inflatables that wrap around. The boards are getting bigger and easier to ride. Aerofoils just came up with like this little suction thing that automatically adds air to the stream, and then you kind of drop down again, which makes it so accessible for almost everyone. Kids, family, you could take your wife and they can have, even together on the bigger boards, they can have a great time.
Exactly. So there are more possibilities, and I think it's a pretty young sport. It's absolutely still in development, still improving every year. You see things get improved, and that makes it very, very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really changed my mind. Like going to the boat and talking to these guys and seeing, like you always, when you see something, you apply to yourself first. And for me, it's that small and powerful.
Is that something for
But
me?
there's
Yes.
so much more to it. And right now, I'm living on the Rhine. I'm living on one side, and I'm taking my son to his boat lessons on the other side, which makes me drive up to the next bridge, which is a really long thing, and then go over the Rhine and then go down again. And it's like at 300 meters and I can see the other side, but I'm not getting there. And with an eFoil, I could easily, like that's really a user case for me. Taking my son on a bigger board, make him sit in front, even stand up and holding him, and then just cruise easily to the other side. It would save me 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's something I could actually imagine. Instead of getting a small boat, I can, like, you have to trailer it or you need a place to put it, and that's more expensive. And with an eFoil, there's a lot of potential coming up. Like foiling by itself opened up a whole new level. And I think eFoiling, like you said, we're just seeing the start of something, like a movement that's just getting started. Like we have assist systems, we have eFoils, we have sportive eFoils, and now we're getting into the recreational family eFoiling. And I think it's in between a boat and an eFoil, and they are getting closer together.
And don't forget what is very nice, and actually we could try this also, you and me, is foil to foil. So you have an e-foiling towing just a foiler.
That's crazy. I've
And
seen that.
and
Like
that's
even
very,
towing
very
them into waves.
And once
that's
you're
really-
up, as we call it, then foil to foil, once you're up, it's not a lot of power that you need, and you're really flying very stable, and it's a lot of fun to do.
But how do you, if the one in the back, if he's pulling really hard, if he's going on an angle, isn't he pulling you off the foil?
He could.
He could?
He could. This is definitely. I mean, it's not like on a cable track you can really go for carbon. It's limited because the person in the front you would pull away, but it's doable. And if this team is really played in together, then you will see it's a lot of fun to do.
So you could actually pull someone into waves. So you could go out
That's what
and
I
then,
choose. Yes.
yeah, that's what they use the jet ski for, like tow in surfing, tow in foiling.
Yeah.
Wow, that's opening up a new level again.
Some brands call it a tow boogie.
Yeah,
So
I've seen one of those.
you've seen
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
But they're also quite high priced because there's not a lot of volume there. There's not a lot of quantities they produce at the moment. But actually, this is the same. So you could really say, ask your buddy, ask your friend, tow me into the waves, and you pump back by yourself.
Yeah, once you're open-minded and you're not saying, "Hey, I don't need electric. I'm not an e-foil guy."
Exactly.
There's a lot of potential. Like it really happened to me, and I think also foil driving changed my mind. I never thought about assist because I have my wing, I can pump, but my learning curve just went straight up by using an assist system. And I think it's similar for someone who's getting into foiling. I've seen it. You put someone on an e-foil, and within an hour and a half, he's foiling. And if you put someone on a pump foil board without anything,
Takes a
you could
little
say,
longer.
help yourself, jump up the ladder. It's going to take a year, like at least. So
Yeah, this is definitely true. There's a big horizon over there, but is it not the same like going into e-mobility in general? People like cars, people like big engines, and then we come with electric vehicles. It's in the beginning also like, do we need that? In a couple of years, we all will drive at least a hybrid or an e-vehicle.
Probably, yeah.
It will be like this, and the e-mobility makes it possible, and e-foiling is one of them. And it's nature and
So what
physics.
do you think is the next big step? Is it going to be smaller, faster, or more intuitive by adding sensors, keeping you on a level or something?
You see that already. The industry is following that, how it could be made, how e-foiling could be made more easy, either by sensors, either by a steering bar, which is
I've seen
also
that. Yeah, that's
steering
really
handle,
interesting.
which is also Seafly is releasing that this summer. There are two kind of advantages. Also, it's easier to foil in general because you have something to hand on, but also for the advanced foiler, it's more easy and to push it in the carve in the turn. So it's fun for both sides, for both ways. And I do think that eFoiling is not hard, not difficult. And as you said, a half an hour to 1.5 hours, actually you should get up everybody, at least flying on their knees. And then finally they have to stand up and to also to trust to stand up. But it's not hard. Everybody can learn eFoiling as well. Everybody can learn cycling. It is
E-cycling.
e-cycling. Yes, yes,
But
yes, even more easy.
I think that's a pretty good comparison because we had the bikes and then all
Exactly.
the e-bikes came up. And at the beginning, everyone was like, I don't need an e-bike.
I'm a mountain
And
biker.
then people realized that you're still riding the bike, like you're still moving. And for someone who's not been riding because it was too exhausting, too old, something, it was not only a way to get back on the bike, but it was like a range extender. And people started to, like, I could go to the supermarket, which would be 5 kilometers away, taking my car, or I could take the bike because now it's not, I'm still moving, which is better than not cycling at all. But I think it was a really nice movement and a really fast movement within the pandemic, especially.
Yeah, I think even there's some. It's proven that people with e-bikes average drive more than people without e-bikes in a year. Besides, we do have one community of e-foilers, and I have some fanatics. They are even retired already. And these guys were proudly showing me, John, last year I made 2,100 kilometers
That's crazy.
foiling in Norway, in Germany, in Greece, everywhere. As they can, they're on the water and discovering places you barely would come.
Yeah, that's the same with me, with my assist system, which allows me to get in the water without wind. Like usually I rely on the wind, I need a dock, I need some places. But with the assist system, I realized that I'm more often on the water and I'm doing more and longer waves. So it's a benefit, but you just have to accept it. And still there's a lot of people rejecting the eFoil movement. And I think with owning, like it's probably not a big issue here in Germany, but it's something people talk about around the world in the lineups. eFoils are finally showing up in the lineup, like the small systems, the big systems. And I think we're seeing a similar movement that we had with the SUP a few years back. When they showed up in the lineup, they could sit further out, they were catching the waves, and everybody was afraid that they're going to take all the waves. They did in a certain way, but people arranged, and I think they will arrange now. But it's new and it's something, people are not used to, and that's something I'm a little bit concerned of. So I like people, if you get an assist, if you get an eFoil, there's so much potential to discover, to go somewhere else away from the crowds. So you don't have to stick to the crowds.
We are absolute silent. If you compare it to jet skiing, for instance, which is for some people, it's definitely nice to do, but the noise is annoying. So imagine you have a lot of people anywhere naked to the close to the water, to the lake or to the river, and making their Sunday and spending their Sunday and having a picnic. One jet ski is annoying the whole day, and we can be there with 100 eFoilers and you don't hear anything. We are just playing with e-mobility and physics.
Exactly. I've just been to Ibiza, and there's been a couple of eFoilers out there, and I think it was a group, and it was just nice to watch them. They went straight out from the beach, and then they were cruising up and down, further out, catching some bums, and they were having a blast. And they came back, and then we had one jet ski guy, and he just ruined the whole thing. It was so noisy, and even they are not allowed to go really close to the beach. They stay out in like certain areas, but it's still out and it's noisy. So that's a good thing. And I think as long as people are using assist systems and eFoils in a responsible way, I see them as an addition to surfing to get you, having fun, sharing the slope.
No wind, then go on the eFoil. You have wind, you go with your wing foil.
Yeah. So how long does it? How many people do you teach a year, like roughly? Is it growing in the last couple of years?
Definitely. We are already this year, I think, between 50 and 60 people that we teach this year already. Okay. And the season didn't even start because lucky today, but so far we only have had rain. So yeah, that's promising, and you have to understand that the sport is so new, and although we are very involved into the sport, so we think we may think that people have seen it already, but it's I would say not even 20% of the audience has seen
Yeah.
this.
I think so. So still with me when I walk with my wing foil gear to the beach, people show up and they say,
What is
wow,
this?
what's this? Or they say, oh, I've never seen one in reality. Is
Exactly.
this the wing foiling? So we're still at a really young age of e-foiling. And I guess most of your, like you're not doing big groups, you're only doing small groups, like 2-3 people.
Individual, because we do it with communication, so via the helmet, so they hear exactly what I'm saying, and then you get an individual guidance, and that works very well, and that's our experience. And then we assure people to get up flying within that hour,
Yeah.
either on their knees or either standing, but they will get flying, and they get the feeling of flying, and the feeling of hearing nothing but just seeing the water below,
Yeah.
underneath.
So are they all going to be customers, all the people you take out? They probably all come back with a big smile. And
Some of them, or maybe they recommend it if they cannot afford, or they are considering to do something else. Then at least they recommend it to friends to do. So this is how it works. Yeah.
I think so. It's going to take off for sure. E-foiling. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to get more affordable as well.
It's going to get more affordable, but I do think it will be quality-wise, and that's the experience we do have because of the do-it-yourself. By the do-it-yourself construction, the price range for an affordable board is going to stay anywhere. I think will not drop below 4,000 or 5,000 euros. That's where it's worth.
Which is
Because otherwise you will get hiccups with quality.
Yeah.
Battery,
We'll see.
it's your nuclear plant which you carry with you. That's what you need. You need it. It needs to be reliable. You're playing with high current, like 50 volts, around the 50 volts, with water, and they don't like each other.
No, they don't.
And water and high current and salt water, they really don't like each other. So, as I said, it has to be reliable. The motor has to be reliable as well, the remote control. And if you count all the parts, it's going to be roughly around that price point.
Yeah, I heard Gong is working on I think an assist system. I don't know if they're going to make an eFoil.
Okay.
But they are usually like trying to be on a
always
lower
very
price,
affordable,
like
yeah.
price value.
Yeah.
Though that's going to be like more
interesting.
competition is going to be good for the market.
Definitely, yes.
I guess.
Definitely.
So do you want to show us something? You've got a lot of boards here.
Some boards.
Should we grab the camera?
How it started, yeah.
Go to your holy garage, grab the coffee, grab the camera.